What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are back with another Hot Toys figure unboxing and review video. Today, everyone, we have a very exciting unboxing, and I am doing the big monster, the 21-inch Venom from the video game Spider-Man 2. I cannot tell you guys how excited I am about this figure. I've been teasing a little bit on my Instagram and TikTok, but this is something that I am so thrilled for. I've been waiting for this figure for a while now, just to know that I'm going to get such a big figure in the collection. And unfortunately, throughout the video, I don't think you guys are going to be really able to tell how big this guy is. The only way you guys will be able to tell is by seeing this figure in person. But I'm hoping to do my best to show just how enormous this guy is compared to pretty much every figure that I have in the collection. I did get my figure off of Sideshow Collectibles. If anybody is interested in purchasing the figure, I will include the link to their website on the description of below, so that way you guys can go ahead and pre-order it if interested. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing and review. Okay, everyone, we get to the design of the box. You guys might not be able to see this in camera, but this box is huge, man, and heavy. So, but it's beautiful. I love the box a lot. It's all over the place. So we got an image of Venom surrounding the whole box, and along with his symbiote of power effects. We do also get the similar symbiote effects that we got for other figures, which are in kind of like this glossy look. We get the name of the video game, a Marvel logo at the top, and we get a very small name of the figure at the very bottom. I'm surprised we didn't get any type of name of the figure like in a big form or type of font. Unfortunately, we don't get that throughout the whole box, but I guess I'm okay with it. Here on the right side, we get the name of the figure along with that background with the symbiote effects. Again, some are in a satin finish that complete the figure. The other ones are in a very glossy type of look to it. Here on the back side, we don't get any of those glossy effects for the symbiote. We get the name of the figure. I'm sorry, the name of the video game, the warning illegal information, and just again all of these symbiote effects for Venom itself. As I mentioned before, I really love the box because of how all over the place it is. I feel like that's what the figure is. On the left side, it's going to be the same thing as the right side. There's nothing too different about it. So back to the top of the box. As I mentioned before, I really like this box a lot. It's all over the place, and that's to me what the figure represents. So off to a good start. Okay. Now we remove the main cover, we get to the actual box itself. Just look at the figure, man. We can already see a preview of the figure. That thing just looks so massive. I cannot wait to get it out of the box. I'm very thrilled about that. Now, with the color effects of this box, I've mentioned this with the other figures that I've received from the video game. I am not a fan of this background. I just don't know what I'm looking at. So obviously we get the name of the figure, but all these color effects are just all over the place. This is a little bit too much for me. I feel like I really don't know what I'm looking at. Here on the back side, I can see the name of the figure in different fonts. We get 3 Venoms, and then we get some face sculpts right there, as you guys can see, but again, I can barely see them. It's hard to see. Again, it just feels like it's all over the place. It's too messy in my personal opinion. Feel free to let me know if you guys agree with me on that. To me, this is just a little bit too much, but again, at least I'll give it to Hot Toys. They stayed consistent. They did this for all the other Spider-Man figures that I have received. For now, I've received the black suit, I received the regular Peter Parker and Miles Morales figures, and this would be the 4th figure that I get for this movie specifically. So to me, again, I really am not a big fan of this second box. I just feel like it's too many colors. Here on the left side, we can get more of a clear image of Venom and his spider logo effect right there in the middle, along with the name of the figure. Again, it's still really blurry and very hard to tell, but at least I can somewhat see that. Back to the main box. It's time to get the figure out here. I am tired of looking at the box. I want to get the figure out here. Okay, we finally get the figure out here. So again, as I mentioned before, the box is just so big and massive. I am shocked that I was able to fit this in my camera view. I'm happy that I did, because I didn't want the video to be ruined in any way. Just look at this thing and how massive it looks. As I'm getting the box out here, first impressions, oh my goodness, just look how big this figure is, man. I cannot believe I'm holding this thing in my hands. He is just massive. For sure, already the heaviest figure that I have ever gotten, the tallest, the biggest, and he just might be the coolest one I've ever collected. My God, he is so big and massive. Again, we already knew he was going to be this, but it's one of those things where it's like you have to get the figure in person in order to see what you think you're seeing, because I really cannot believe how big this guy is. So off to a great start, man. This thing looks so awesome. Obviously we'll take a look at the accessories that it comes with. We'll take a deeper look into Venom, and then for sure we'll do a lot of side-by-side comparisons. We need to make comparisons with other figures from the video game along with other Venom figures as well. But for now, amazing start to this figure. Okay, everyone, we get to the accessories. So even though we don't have a lot of accessories going with this guy, they're so big that it almost fits the whole camera view. So we start off with the display base. I am not surprised by this. We got the same display base as far as the shape of it with the Venom and Carnage figures from the movie Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. I'll be honest, I don't think this base is big enough for the figure. It's too small. Now, I like it a lot. I like the artwork on it. We get a Venom logo at the middle along with the symbiote effect, you know, in a glossy color, along with the name of the figure and also the name of the video game. We do get a crotch holder that again, as I mentioned before, I just don't think it will be enough. This is a little bit too small for me. It's not going to be enough to fit the figure, so I don't know if I'll use it. But either way, I really like it a lot. It looks really, really cool, so no issues with it at all. We get 2 head sculpts. For now, I'll just let you guys know that it comes with 2 head sculpts, but obviously whenever we talk about the figure, I'll let you guys know in detail which I think is the better one for it. Both of them for sure look cool, and one of them is going to be kind of like this smiling kind of evil look to it, and then the other one is obviously with his mouth wide open, pretty much just yelling across. So just know that it comes with both of these head sculpts, and very cool for sure. And then we get some tongue effect pieces that are going to go connected to honestly both head sculpts. Even though the other one has small teeth, his mouth is wide open enough where we can fit the tongue in. So these effect pieces will go on both mouths, although obviously they would match more with the wide open mouth. They're pretty much made out of plastic. The color effect is pretty much pink. And it does come with magnets, so that's the way they would go attached to them. Now, I don't have any issue with these. I think they're cool, but there's some things that they could have done better on them, and I'll touch more on that whenever we take a look at the figure in person. These hand pieces are absolutely massive. Just look how they go compared to my actual hands. So the 2 on the right is just going to be closed fists, and then the 2 on the left are going to be with his hands wide open and his claws showing to show kind of this action type of pose with it. The texture of them are great. There's a lot of glossiness with the paint applications that they did with the hands, and they're pretty much made out of plastic, I would say, but I really love the texture of them. They're really glossy and gooey, which is obviously what Venom is supposed to be. So the claws are very pointy and sharp, so if you guys do buy this figure, be careful with that. But yeah, these are the only hand pieces that I have that we get, like normal hand pieces, so no issues with them at all. Then we get some effect pieces. These 2 are supposed to go attached to his back. As you guys can see, it has that stick that goes installed in the hole. More on that a little bit later. I like these a lot because they're made out of plastic instead of the ones made out of for the Venom figure, by Tom Hardy. Those are made out of rubber. The thing is that they can get broken really easily. So to me, these effect pieces are better. They're easier to work with, and they're not that massive to a point where it's going to kind of intervene with you posting the figure. So to me, these effect pieces are good. I don't have any issues with them. And then these pieces should be for his hands. So you guys can pretty much just insert them in his hands. As you guys can see, it has that hole and that circular type of shape to them where you would install them onto the hands. So I like these pieces a lot as well. Again, the texture, the paint applications, they've done well with them, and they're made out of plastic. So, and they're also really thick, so I don't think they can get broken in any way. And then just look at these hand pieces. These are the size of my hand, man. These have his claws kind of like with an additional power effect. They're really cool as well. I'll be honest, it's kind of hard hard to tell what side they belong to, whether one is for the right hand, another one's to the left. But I guess we can figure that out a little bit later on. The claws are sharper for these hands than the ones that I just showed you guys, but they're really, really cool, and I'm glad that it comes with them because it's just going to give us another option to pose the figure. But I am just shocked on how big these hands are, man. They are so huge. They're the size of my hands. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. They're just so massive, but so cool. I really like them a lot. Okay, everyone, so that was it for the accessories. It's time to look at this guy, Venom. So this guy, to me, just looks so cool, man. It is everything that I expected out of the box. Starting off with the head sculpt. So the head sculpt looks great, man. I think to me, it is a point of preference, whether you guys prefer this one or the other one, but I like the shape of it. I love how well it matches with his neck and the rest of his body. It is connected via magnet, just like the one from Tom Hardy. So to me, it is a very easy fit. And I feel like that way it allows us to pose it in a lot of different ways. The head sculpt just looks absolutely awesome. My favorite thing about the head sculpt is his eyes, how big and white color they are. So for Venom, they're very small, and also the color is kind of like this silver gray type of look to it. With this head piece, it's completely white, and I like that a lot. I love the facial expression as well. So it has this smile, but it's kind of like an evil, kind of ruthless type of smile that the guy has, and it looks absolutely amazing in my personal opinion. Now, the only thing that I don't want to say complain, but more so a suggestion that I wish that they could do. I wish that they would do more realism when it comes to these head sculpts. So maybe add some saliva, some blood to his teeth or something, just to make it look more realistic and more awesome and evil. And especially with this head sculpt, the one that I'm putting on. So that's his yelling head sculpt. I wish they would add some type of more realism to it. Again, that's just a wish that I have, not necessarily a complaint, because this thing still looks absolutely awesome. This thing right here, it is evil. It is so scary of a head sculpt. His mouth is wide open big, and as you guys know, this is where the tongue effect pieces are going to go connected, which we're about to try on right now. The head sculpt just looks great, and I love the fact that we get two of them to show different expression with the guy. So the tongue effect pieces, they're very easy to connect. As I mentioned with the head sculpt, I wish the same thing for the tongue effect pieces. I wish they had some saliva kind of coming around, just like the Thunder Toys Venom for Spider-Man 3. I wish they would have done that, but that's just in my opinion. Still in all, the tongue effect pieces are very glossy, so at least that somewhat shows some type of realistic appearance. With the tongue effect pieces, to me, I think it's just a matter of preference. They have different directions. I do think they're made out of plastic. I don't see any type of rubber or any type of articulation, so I think it should be made out of plastic. They're very cool. I love the color effects and paint applications, so to me, I don't have any issues with them at all. And as I mentioned before, it's just a matter of preference and what you guys think would be better for the figure specifically. But man, both head sculpts are so awesome. I really love how they both look. Let me know in the comments which head sculpt do you guys think it's better specifically. I still have no idea which one I'm going to pose the figure with. Now, bringing my camera a little bit down, we're going to take a look at the rest of the suit. So the suit is made out of rubber. It does feel different compared to the Tom Hardy's Venom. So this suit is a little bit more, I would say, loose and soft. With Venom, it's kind of rough and patchy, but they're both made out of rubber. The shoulders, it's the same as the Tom Hardy Venom, so we get that seam line in between the shoulders. Now, one comment about that, again, not a complaint, but just a comment. I just wish at some point Hot Toys would find a way to make this figure completely seamless. Now, I know that's a lot to ask because the figure is so massive and big, but as much as I like articulating the figure, sometimes I want to get a figure that looks so realistic and so well done, where the body proportions are pretty much perfect because of how well the shoulder and his neck area match up. Again, to me, this figure looks fine, but it doesn't look perfect. So that's one thing that I wish they would do. And again, it's the same with the Tom Hardy Venom. Nothing changes as far as the shoulders and how the body goes connected. Now, one thing that this figure does have that Tom Hardy does not is that chest logo, and that chest logo looks perfect, man. It does have some weathering on it, so as you guys can see, it has some kind of black and dirt paint applications. There's a lot of vein work surrounding the whole white chest logo, so a lot of lines kind of breaking down the logo, and obviously it's for both sides. So here on the back side, the same thing. I love how white and bright and glossy that chest logo is. On the left and right side, we do get those pieces where the where the symbiote piece effects is supposed to go. What I like is that it's not that noticeable, and then maybe it's because of how black the Venom suit is, but just know that that is where it's supposed to go. So to me, this figure just looks great, man. I love the chest logo, the appearance of it, and how bright it looks. That is, again, something we never got for the Tom Hardy figure, so it looks great. Now here more below with the figure, so same thing with the legs. I just wish at some point we would get a completely seamless figure. I just feel like with the legs, it doesn't go connected as great as I would want it to be. So that's just something that I kind of wanted to bring out. Now, I did want to go ahead and attach the other hand pieces so that way we can take a look at how the figure looks with them connected. So we have right here the massive hands with big claws that are the same size as my hands. So they look so cool, man. Just so amazing. I really love these hand piece effects. My only kind of issue is that since they're so heavy, the actual arm does bend on its own below. So if I ever want to post a figure kind of like to the, having the hand stretched to the top, because of how massive and heavy those hands are, those shoulders do seem to come down a little bit. So that is somewhat a small issue that I have when it comes to posting the figure individually. But everything else, again, just looks great. I really don't have any massive complaints about the figure. This thing is massive and everything that I thought it would be, pretty much. Okay, so now we have the regular hands that are the regular open hands with his regular claws. I'm most likely gonna have to go with these to post the figure in the end. The reason why is because I don't have a lot of space, so it's gonna be tough to match up to put this figure. In the background on the right, if you guys can see where the Goblin and Carnage is, that is where I'm gonna put this figure. The good thing is that I do have enough space and height. But it is going to be somewhat of a struggle either way, so I'm trying to not put that many effect pieces on it that will make it difficult to pose. And then underneath, taking a look at the last part of the figure, so his feet are going to be pretty much exactly the same as Tom Hardy's Venom. There's a seam line in between the ankle. Now, that seam line, I have no issues with it. To me, there has to be a seam line in between the ankles. Now, the body proportions are great with the legs. I feel like the legs are thick enough and long enough to where the figure, as far as his upper body, is not going to look weird compared to the legs. So to me, I thought that they did a really good job with that. And again, this figure does leave seam lines in between his ankles to be able to pose it. I like the fact that they did that, and I don't think we should have any issues with those leg effect pieces. We'll talk about it right now since I'm about to go over the articulation. So pretty much the figure, again, he just looks so good in my personal opinion. Okay, so this is going to be the hardest part of the video. It's time to take a look at the articulations. This thing is just so massive that, man, I hope it doesn't fall at any point. So as I just mentioned right now, with the ankle, there is a seam line in between his ankle. It is connected via a ball joint to the leg. So the ankle does go onto the top and below pretty nicely, which is a good thing, as it will make me pose the figure very nicely. The leg does go completely around with ease, so no issues with the feet. As far as the leg, even though it's hard to move, it does swiggle from side to side pretty easily. The leg does go all the way to the left to the top pretty nicely as well. It does bend to the back just a little bit, not as much as I thought it would be, but I think good enough. And then the knees do bend to the top pretty nicely as well, so no issues with that at all. Around his chest area, even though I might not be able to show this much on camera, it does bend more forward than what I'm trying to do. But again, since he's so heavy, I can't show it much on camera. It does move to the sides just well enough for me to be able to pose the figure in different ways. With his arms, again, since there is a ball joint and a seam line, it's supposed to move, pretty easily. So it does go to the top. It's just a matter of you guys adjusting the shoulders so that it looks as realistic as possible. As I mentioned before, it goes to the top very nicely. It bends in between the elbow pretty good as well. But again, as you guys can see, sometimes it bends on its own below because of how heavy that arm is. So that is somewhat of a concern of mine. With the head sculpt, well, there's nothing to talk about. Obviously, since it's a separate piece that goes connected via a magnet, you guys can pretty much move it in every single way you guys can do it, which is something that I really like a lot. So to me, articulations aren't the greatest, but I think they're good enough to a point where I don't think I'll have any issues with posting the figure. I think the issue would probably be how heavy he is. Okay, everyone, so to me, and this is probably the only time that I'll have to say this, but this is my favorite part of this video, and that is the side-by-side comparisons. Number one, because I have so many options that I can compare to Venom, but also because of how ridiculous this image looks right now. On the right side, we have Venom, Tom Hardy's Venom from the Venom Let There Be Carnage movie. On the left side, we have, obviously, Spider-Man 2 Venom. I cannot believe how taller the Venom from Spider-Man 2 is compared to Tom Hardy's Venom. I mean, just look at this. This is ridiculous, man. This is just something that I never thought I would be able to collect. It is such a massive difference between the two guys that it's just, I can't even imagine when, I'm sorry, I can't even believe what I'm looking at right now. But some other differences, obviously the chest logo is just so cool on the Venom from Spider-Man 2, something that Venom does not have on the right side. Now, maybe the shape of the head sculpt is better for Tom Hardy's Venom, but in all honesty, that is the only thing that I can think of that's better. Maybe it has more accessories, I guess, but the Venom from Spider-Man 2, the suit, the feel of the texture, the paint applications, and how shiny the figure looks, there is no question in my mind that Spider-Man 2's Venom is much better than Tom Hardy's Venom. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe you guys just find it easier to work with the regular Venom from Tom Hardy. But again, to me, I'm just in love of how massive this Venom is. Next, we have Carnage. So before this video, my biggest figure in the collection was Carnage. Obviously, that is no longer the case and is obviously by a huge mile. Again, Carnage is one of the tallest figures we've ever gotten from Hot Toys, and it doesn't even compare to this Venom that we have right now. Doesn't even reach the shoulder either. Now, Carnage, he is a much different figure compared to the Venom. So there is some rubber on his chest and back. But as far as his arms and his legs, they are made out of plastic, something that I cannot say about the Venom figures. But obviously, the three figures, as you guys were able to see, they all have seam lines in between his shoulders and legs. And again, it's not a complaint, but to me, a couple of years later, from the Venom releases, I just think that Hot Toys could have possibly found a way to make this Venom completely seamless if they really wanted it to be, but I'm not sure that they did that. They knew how excited we were going to be for this Venom regardless because of how big he is, but that's just something that I really feel the importance of pointing out, because to me, I think that could have been made, and they could have made the figure look even much better had it been completely seamless from his shoulders and from his legs. But as I mentioned before, let me know in the comments if you guys agree with me on that. I may be out of line with that comment, but I just feel like that's my opinion, right? So I think that could just make the figure better. Okay, next side-by-side comparison. So we have Black Suit Peter Parker from obviously the video game. Just look at this, man. Again, it is absurd and ridiculous how big Venom is. I guess the question is he supposed to be this massive? And honestly, playing the video game, I think he is, man. He's just that big of a beast that I think Hot Toys got it accurate as far as the size of the figure, but just look how how massive it is. But this is what I was talking about. Now again, back to my point. I know it's hard. It's harder, it's hard to execute this. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world, but just look at how cool the Black Suit Peter Parker is, because he's completely seamless. His shoulders look great. His legs, same thing. The body proportions are so great. It's like, to me, I feel like Hot Toys can find a way to just get that onto a big, massive Venom figure, where it could be completely seamless and the body proportions could just be better. But again, that's the last time that I'll touch on that point. Still in all, just again, the comparison between these two just makes absolutely no sense. The suits are obviously different. With Peter Parker, it's also rubber, but it's more of a fabric type of rubber. With the Venom, it's just straight up rubber. Both figures are awesome. I love both of them, and to me, they both met expectations. So I really like how both of these figures look together. They match up very, very well. And then last but not least, we have his normal Advanced Suit 2.0. I thought about bringing Miles Morales here, but I didn't want to do too many comparisons either. You know, I could have also brought Thunder Toys Venom from Spider-Man 3 just to, you know, have another Venom out here. But obviously with the Advanced Suit 2.0, that's pretty much the two most important characters of the whole video game, with regular Peter Parker and obviously Harry becoming Venom. Again, the comparison just makes no sense how big one figure is compared to the other one. But man, this is a really nice collection. So obviously at this point, this is 4 figures that I've gotten for the collection. I still have to get the Superior Suit, which I think was just released today, announced to be released. I'll probably give a quick preview tomorrow on that figure. And then last but not least, it should be the Anti-Venom suit. If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if there's another figure that I'm forgetting. But so far the collection has been really, really cool. Starting off with Venom, which to me is the best figure by far of the whole collection. And then I think the Advanced Suit and the Peter Parker 2.0, it's a matter of preference. Miles Morales figures is pretty cool too, but obviously we still have to take a look at the Superior Suit and the Anti-Venom suit, seeing how well they compare to the other figures. But this side-by-side comparison was not just for me to match up these two guys together, but it's also to talk about how cool the figures are for the whole collection. I think so far they've met expectations. I don't think there's any figure out here that I could say I have a complaint on. So I like all of the figures of the collection, in my opinion. Okay, everyone, so we get to the final part of the video, which is just a couple of poses and my final thoughts on this guy. So really quick, I know it's getting annoying from me. I know that every video that I do, I want to say the figure that I collected is the best thing I've ever seen. I did it with the in-art Superman, I did it with the Joker, I did it with with this guy right here, with Deadpool, with the other Spider-Man figures. So I don't want to do that anymore. I feel like my opinion is not being objective, and I'm just a prisoner of the moment. So instead, what I want to do is that eventually I want to do kind of like a video doing my top 5 figures of my collection. I feel like at that point, my opinion will be a little bit more objective, and I'll be able to at least think this a little bit more through, and put some thought into it. So just know that this guy will be in consideration without question. He is as good as I thought he would be, and even better. Seeing pictures and videos and of other collectors getting this guy, it's like, yeah, I already knew he was big, but there's no way you can actually think that until you actually see the figure in person. And this is what I've done today. I've saw the figure in person, and it's just unbelievable. I'm shocked. I'm lost for words on how massive this figure is. Again, you guys can see my figures in the back of my whole collection, and just look how small they look compared to this guy. He is just that massive and huge, and without question, one of my favorite figures I've ever collected. So I'm very happy with what I've received from Hot Toys. They've done very well. Again, I mentioned before other things that could be better, right, and that they can make that they could possibly improve on. But to me, with these figures, I really don't care. I'm getting 21 inches of Venom, man. Just think about that, how massive and huge this guy is. It is a thrill. So very happy with the figure without question. Very excited to have him on. So this is definitely one of the coolest unboxings I will ever have to do. I'll see if ever in the future, Hot Toys decides to release a figure as big as this guy right here. So to end the video, everyone, pretty much just wanted to thank you as always for supporting the channel. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think about this figure individually, and if you've collected him so far, let me know how thrilled you are to have him in the collection. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you guys are interested in purchasing this figure, I will include a link to Sideshow, so that way you guys can pre-order the figure. He is still up for pre-order, so you guys will probably have to wait a little bit to get him. As always, want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and join for more figure unboxings, figure previews, and things like that. And also a reminder that I am on Instagram and TikTok. The links to that are on the description of the video. That is where I post figures as well as pictures of my figures, as well as daily updates of my channel. So guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this figure unboxing for Venom from Spider-Man 2. Thank you again for supporting me, and I will see you next time.